Hello everybody, I am Desiree and today I'm going to guide you through a class that is centered all around balance. But before we jump into working on the balance, I would like to get started by doing a little bit of warm-up. Something else I also want to mention is that this class could really be for everybody. Get the whole family involved. I know my kids at school would love this. They love working on those balance poses occasionally. So get the whole family, find a comfortable spot, and then join me on your mat. I'm going to ask you to start in a Shavasana pose. So that means that you're just going to lie down completely on your mat, opening your arms and legs up nice and wide. So I want you just to stay right there, close your eyes, and just simply notice your breath. No judgment of what it feels like, no judgment of what is happening in your body, just simply noticing what it feels like and what's going on in your mind. During these first couple of minutes of class, in any yoga class for myself, I find that this is my time where I try to get my mind focused in simply on my practice, trying to let go of anything else that has happened during the day. So I want you to try your best to simply focus only on your breath right now. Let's start by taking a deep breath in through the nose to fill up and let it out your mouth. Again, deep breath in through the nose to fill up and out your mouth. Now in a power class, where we typically do a lot of these balance poses that I'm going to introduce you to, we use a breath known as our Ujjayi pranayama, or our Ujjayi breath, our breath of victory. In order to do this breath, you breathe in through your nose, seal your lips, and then breathe back out your nose. Again, in through the nose, and out the nose. As you do this, it probably sounds like maybe a whisper sound, or some people think it sounds like Darth Vader. If you're hearing that sound, you're doing it correctly. If you don't hear that sound, try dropping your chin just slightly, and then you may hear that sound. I ask that you continue with this breath throughout the remainder of our class to help you to stay present and focused. With the balance poses we are going to focus in on today, our breath will be very important. From here, slowly begin to wake up your body by wiggling your fingers and your toes. And then we'll take a good morning stretch, just reaching your arms overhead, like you're being pulled in both directions. Somebody's pulling your legs and your arms. You should feel this in your low back. And then hug your knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice tight squeeze, maybe rocking side to side if it feels good on your body. We're just going to place our feet on the mat, warming up our hamstrings, legs, doing just a few warm-ups before we get into these balance poses. We're going to do something called supine pigeon. You'll lift your right leg high into the air and cross your right ankle to your left thigh. Now you might feel enough stretch right here. You can choose to stay here. Or if you're needing a little more stretch, you can just gently reach up, grab the back of your left thigh with both hands, and bring your head and shoulders back onto the mat. And you're just going to gently use your arms to pull the left leg back towards your chest. I really feel this in my right hip right now. You might feel it in a little different way. Just notice what it feels like. If it's feeling painful or pinchy, I ask that you slowly come out of it. Otherwise, just hold. And then we'll drop the left leg back down onto the mat, lifting the right leg into the air. You can reach around and grab the back of your right thigh. Maybe you can reach up and grab your calf, or maybe even your ankle. We're just going to pull the right leg back towards us, feeling the stretch go all the way down the hamstring, maybe even into the calf. And then release your right foot back onto the mat. We'll do the same thing on the other side. This time lifting the left leg into the air, crossing the left ankle to the right thigh. Do what you did on side one. I want you to match it so that we can make sure that we're balanced. So I'm reaching in between my legs, grabbing the back of my right thigh, and then gently placing my head and my shoulders back down on the mat, using my arms to gently pull my thigh back towards my chest. And again, now I'm feeling the stretch more in my left hip over here. runner. You might feel really tight in some of these poses, so just breathe your way through the poses. These stretches are really great for us. The more you do it, the more flexible you can become. Placing the right foot back down on the mat, lifting the left leg into the air, and just like we did on the other side, grab either behind the thigh, the calf, or maybe you can reach up and grab your ankle and just gently pull back, feeling the stretch go all the way down your leg. And then release, hugging your knees into your chest. And we're going to roll to whichever side you prefer. I'm going to roll towards the camera to fetal position and just gently use my arm strength to press my way up to a seated position. In the seated position, we'll be here for just a little bit of time, but if you need to grab a blanket to sit on or a pillow, you're always welcome to do so. We'll only be here for about a moment. I want you to take your hands, interlace them behind your head. We're just going to warm up the shoulders a little bit here, doing some cat-cows. On your exhale, round your spine and pull your elbows in towards each other. Then on your inhale, press your belly forward as you lift your gaze. Exhale, round in. Inhale, lift your gaze. Take 3 to 5 more rounds, moving at your own pace. And then when you're ready, you'll just meet me back in neutral seated position. And from here, we're just gonna roll on up to a tabletop position. Coming onto our hands and our knees. Shoulders are stacked over top of the wrists. Hips are stacked over top of the knees. And if you look back through your feet, you should see that your feet just kind of disappear behind your knees. Take just a couple traditional cat-cows on your inhale. Gaze up, belly rounds down towards the mat. Exhale, cat pose. Rounding the spine, chin to the chest. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Feel free to add in any extra movement, maybe taking some hip circles. Just make sure you match one side to the other. We'll be here for just a couple more breaths. And then come back to stillness. So this is one of my favorite things to do. We're going to walk the hands up just about a hand space closer towards the top of the mat. And then I'm going to walk my hands over towards the right side of the mat. We're going to take a side body stretch here. So it's kind of like child's pose, except our knees aren't quite as wide. You'll send your hips down towards your heels. Left palm comes on top of the right, and just let your forehead drop to the mat. You should feel the stretch going all the way down the left side of your body. I really feel this in my shoulders. Just enjoy the stretch. And then slowly rise back up, walking your hands to the other side, to the left side of the mat this time. Hands might come off the mat, the right palm comes on top of the left. And once again, sink your hips down towards your heels, forehead towards the floor. This time I'm feeling the stretch all the way down the right side of my body, starting from my fingertips, really feeling it in the shoulder. And then rise back up, palms come back to the center. And we're going to take our first downward facing dog. So spread your fingertips out wide like starfish on the beach. Curl your toes under and then send your hips up high towards the ceiling. Feel free to add some movement here, bending one knee, then the other. Really sending your chest back towards the wall behind you. Heels press down towards the mat. They may or may not touch, and that's okay. And then from here, come to stillness and walk your way to the top of your mat. Your feet are hip distance apart, going into ragdoll position. You take your hands and grab opposite elbows and sway side to side. Remember, you can bend your knees as much as you need to release your lower back. And then come back to stillness. Your fingertips come to touch the mat, and then toe heel your feet together. to touch. Now, with balance, the closer your feet are together, the more challenging the balance poses are going to be. Just keep that in mind. If you need to keep some distance in between your feet, that's perfectly fine as well. From here, you'll slowly roll one vertebrae at a time, all the way up to standing. Circling your arms up overhead and bringing your hands down through your heart center. Close your eyes or just gaze over your fingertips. At the beginning of every yoga class, we tend to set an intention, something that we're working on. I'd like you to bring something to mind that you're working on, maybe something that you are going to pursue during this crazy COVID-19 stuff that we have going on. Something that I've really started working on is just paying attention to what I'm learning about myself through this process. Being at home, not going out as much as we are used to. Our entire lives have been kind of turned upside down, but there's definitely some positive things that we can take out of this and some things that I've learned about myself. So maybe that's something that you want to focus on, or maybe you've brought something else to the mat. That's perfectly fine. Take a deep breath in through the nose to fill up. Send it out the mouth. And then flutter open your eyes, bringing your palms down by your sides. We're going to do just a little flow in sun A. Once again, just still warming up our bodies a little bit here. Inhale, mountain pose, circling your arms up overhead, grounding down into all four corners of your feet, tilting your pelvis under slightly to create a neutral spine. Your pinkies turn in slightly to drop the shoulders away from the ears. Your gaze is forward. And remember, we're using that Ujjayi breath in through the nose and out the nose. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, take it to a twisted side body twist to the right here. My left arm extends out in front of me as my right arm extends to the back wall. Gaze is towards my right, or maybe even turning my gaze behind me. Inhale, rise up, mountain pose. Exhale, open up, side body twist to the left. So this time my right arm extends out in front of me as my left arm extends behind me. Again, the gaze can be towards my left or maybe to my back arm. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, back bend. Arms can come out like cactus arms or goal pose, pushing your hips towards the wall in front of you as you lift your chest towards the ceiling. Inhale, rise up, and exhale, standing forward fold. Then one knee, then the other. You're probably really feeling this in the backs of your legs right now, especially if you're maybe not as flexible, or maybe you're a runner. This can be a very challenging pose. So just bend your knees anytime you need to. From here, we're going to plant the left palm in front of us and inhale the right arm up towards the ceiling. You'll see that my left knee bends just a little bit in order to make this happen. As I warm up, I'll probably be able to stretch it out a little bit more, but feel free to add that bend. Exhale, plant the right palm this time, and inhale, side twist to the left. This time it's my right knee that might put a little slight bend in my knee. Gaze is lifted, and exhale, palm to the mat. We'll do it one more time before we get into those balanced poses. So go ahead and come back to stillness. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, side body twist to the right. Inhale, mountain, exhale, side twist to the left. Inhale, mountain, exhale, back bend. Inhale, mountain, exhale, standing forward fold. Left palm plants. Inhale, side twist to the right. Exhale, right palm plants. Inhale, left arm, side twist to the left. And exhale, standing forward fold. All right, so now we're going to get to what we've all been waiting for, all of those fun balanced poses. Slowly roll one vertebrae at a time back to standing. And inhale, mountain pose. So if you were to go to power classes, you would see a lot of these poses. I'm going to start off somewhat easy and kind of work our way up to some more challenging balance poses. Remember, you can always go closer to a wall if you need a little extra support, or even pulling a chair next to you can be a modification that you can add if you're working on your balance. All right, inhaling back to mountain pose. Going into one-legged mountain, I want you to ground down into your left foot. And then inhale your right knee to hip height. You might stay here, or to make it a little more challenging, extend the right foot out in front of you, flexing the right toes back towards your face. Trying to get that leg as parallel to the mat as you can, not as so easy. Putting it bent back in the knee and then releasing the right foot back down to meet the left. We'll do the same thing on the other side. This time, right foot really grounds down as you lift your left knee to hip height. Again, if you took the challenge on side one, try it here on side two, extending the left leg out in front of you, flexing the toes back towards your face. Lifting that left leg as much as you can while keeping your right leg straight and strong. Put a bend back in the left knee and replace your left foot back down to meet the right. Next pose is called eagle. So we're gonna sit down into a chair and then take the right arm underneath the left. Palms are gonna come together to touch. Now this can be challenging on the shoulders. If this is a little too much, you can always bring your hands to your shoulders. So find what works for you. So I'm sitting deep into my chair, and then we'll take it a little bit further. Grounding down into the left foot, right foot lifts over top of the left leg. Sitting deep into your chair, drishti gaze. Something that's not moving is what you really want to focus on. Maybe it's something on the wall in front of you. And stay focused on your breath. Inhale, unwind, coming back into chair, and we'll take it to the other side. This time, left arm sweeps underneath the right, palms come together to touch. Sitting deep into the chair, left leg lifts over top of the right. Squeezing the thighs as tightly together as you can. Keep breathing. And then inhale, unwind, coming back up to mountain pose. All right, so one of our favorite poses to do is called dancer's pose. So in order to do dancers, we're gonna come up to mountain pose. I'm gonna turn just so you can see this a little bit better. Your right hand will come down to your right hip. You're gonna kick your right foot back into your seat, reaching back and grabbing the inside arch of your right foot. Inhale, and on your exhale, slowly begin to kick your foot up as your upper body lowers towards the wall in front of you. Keep your gaze lifted, shining your chest forward. And then come out of it the same way that you came in, meeting back in mountain pose. Doing the same thing on the left side. So we're back in mountain pose. This time the left elbow comes down to the left hip, kicking back, grabbing the inside of the left foot this time. Inhale, and on your exhale, begin to kick as your upper body lowers. And then come out the same way that you came in. Remember, if you come out of any of these poses, it's okay. Try it again. Beauty of this is you can always pause anytime that you want and just give it a try. A lot of times, some days I'll find that I'm really great at my balance, and then the next day I'm struggling. So it all just kind of depends on what's going on in our minds and how our body's feeling, so no judgments. All right, traditional, one of the most famous poses of yoga is tree pose. So we're gonna inhale, mountain pose. Arms come up overhead and bring your hands down through your heart space. We'll start with grounding down through the left leg, and your right foot will become your kickstand. It can come here to your ankle, to your calf, or maybe you reach down and place it in your inner thigh. I just want you to avoid placing it on your knee. So what I want you to think about is pressing the left hip as you press your right foot into your thigh, really pressing in two directions. Now you have the option to stay right here, just finding something that's not moving, or option to grow your branches in any way that you'd like. Some people like to lift their gaze towards the ceiling to add an extra balance challenge, or even closing the eyes, which is even more challenging. Give it a try, see what you can do. Then your hands come back down to your heart space, releasing the right foot back down to meet the left. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. This time you're grounding down into your right foot, and it's your left foot becomes your kickstand. Try to match what you did on side one. So I brought mine up to my inner thigh. This time I'm thinking about really pressing the right hip in as I press my left foot into my thigh. Find your drishti gaze, find your balance, focus on your breath, and then grow the branches if you did on side one. You have the option to do the same thing or maybe try something new. Some people like to take their hands behind their back, adding a small back bend. Hands come back down to your heart space. Release the left foot back down to meet the right, and bring your hands down to your sides. So those were 4 pretty basic but yet challenging balance poses that you will see in many power classes, even some gentle classes that you will go to, or beginner yoga classes. But there's another type of yoga that we do at our studio. It's called hot fusion, that incorporates some more challenging balance sequences that I'm going to throw in here too as well. So you're going to notice that some of the poses that we do within these series are things that we just did. So we're going to start off back in mountain pose, circling the arms up overhead, grounding down into the left foot, right knee comes to hip height. Now this is what we did earlier, one leg mountain. If you want to take that extra challenge, you can. And then we put a bend back in the right knee, taking it to figure 4. Your right ankle crosses to your left thigh or knee, and then your hands come down to your heart space as you slowly begin to sit down into your chair. Lots of options and layers here. You can stay right here, maybe bring your elbows to your knee and your ankle. You can take crouching tiger by extending your arms out. Take any variation that you know here. We bring our hands back to heart center, slowly rising up the same way that we came in. Arms extend overhead, right knee to hip height, and then we release the right foot back down to meet the left. Definitely a lot more challenging when we add a sequence of those poses. Let's do it on the other side. This time grounding down into the right foot, left knee comes to hip height for one leg mountain. Take the challenge if you did on side one. And then we take it to figure 4, left ankle crosses to your right thigh, hands come down to your heart space, and slowly sit down into your chair. Try to match what you did on side one. Really feeling the stretch here, feels so good. And then you want to come out the same way that you came in, hands come to your heart space, slowly begin to rise, arms extend overhead, left knee to hip height, and then release the left foot back down to meet the right. All right, let's do one more sequence. This one can be really challenging. Starts off with eagle. We're gonna take the right arm underneath the left, palms come together to touch it down into your chair. Right leg crosses over the left thigh. Now something that in hot yoga that we tend to do during eagle is we can do something called fly your eagle, where you bring your elbows to your knees. Just an extra challenge here. And then we inhale, rise up, bringing the right knee to hip height. And begin to kick the right foot behind you for eagle arm airplane, flexing the toes down towards the mat, and extend your arms out in front of you. Our release is standing stick. Hands come to steeple grip, releasing them out in front. Arms and legs, right leg is parallel to the mat. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, slowly rise up. One more side. Taking the left arm underneath the right, palms come together to touch. Sit down into your chair. Left leg lifts and crosses over top of the right, squeezing nice and tight. If you flew your eagle on side one, go ahead and fly it here as well. Bringing the elbows to touch your knee, gazes forward, and always thinking about your breath and your drishti gaze. Slowly rise up, left knee comes to hip height, taking it to eagle arm airplane by extending the left foot behind you, toes flex down towards the mat, extend the arms out in front of you, releases standing stick. Your hands come to a steeple grip. Left leg is lifted. Arms and left leg parallel to the mat. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, slowly rise up. Releasing your palms down by your sides. Maybe grab some water if you have it. And then just come to sitting on your mat with me. We'll do a couple ending stretches just to get your heart rate back down. And extend my legs out in front. Reaching my arms up overhead, really reaching towards the ceiling. And exhale to a forward fold. Let your forehead come down to your shins, or your knees, wherever you can reach. Remember, you can bend your knees here if needed. Listen to your body. You don't want to feel any painful stretching. And then inhale, rise all the way back up, slowly lowering all the way down onto your mat. Taking a good morning stretch like we did earlier. And then hugging your knees into your chest. From here, we'll do supine twist. I want you to extend the left leg all the way out onto the mat, hugging the right knee into your chest, really pulling it in. Inhale. And then on your exhale, guide the right knee across your body. Arms come out like a letter T. Your gaze can go in the opposite direction. I like to take my left hand and place it on my right knee and just use it to pull that knee down, giving me a little more stretch. Try to keep both shoulders connected to the mat. Inhale back to center, hugging your knees into your chest, and this time extending the right leg all the way out onto the mat, hugging the left knee into your chest. Inhale, and exhale, guiding the left knee over towards the right side. Arms are out like a letter T, or this time I'm using my right hand just to gently pull the left knee down closer towards the floor. And then inhale back to center. I want you to ask yourself, are there any more stretches or poses that you would like to take? Maybe Happy Baby is in your practice, you're welcome to take it. But otherwise, I ask that you release yourself back down into your Shavasana, where we started earlier in the beginning of the video. Again, you open your arms and legs up wide, close your eyes. Come back to that thought that I asked you earlier. What are some positive things that are coming out of the situation that we're going through right now? What are you learning about yourself? I hope that as we go throughout these couple of weeks, however many days it might be, I really hope that you stay focused in on that thought. Even write them down. I've started making a journal of all of the different positive things that I've learned about myself. Thank you so much for joining me on your mat today. You are welcome to stay in this Shavasana for as long as you'd like. Typically, we'd stay in the Shavasana for about 5 minutes. But I am going to end here. I just want to remind you to please like our videos and subscribe to the free yoga club that's been provided by Evolve Yoga Fitness. We appreciate your support and we can't wait to get back to the studio. Thank you so much, everybody. Namaste.